Hi everyone, Abby Kay here. I wanted to take this opportunity. I actually have a quiet house this afternoon, which does not happen very often. So I wanted to pop in with a mid-year review. So as we come back from our Christmas break, so mid-January, early February, as we're back into the groove of things, is actually when I start thinking ahead to the next school year. And the first step in that is to review what it has been working so far. So I thought I'd take you along with me on that and show you how our year has been going. So if you saw my video this fall, I showed that I created my own planner this year to kind of meet our unique needs. It was actually a lot simpler than I anticipated, so I'm really excited. I loved putting it together, and I'm very proud that I have been consistent with it, with using the planner. So let me show you how it's gone. So this is the list of resources that we started the school year with. This has definitely changed. I knew it would, and that's okay. I can go in at the end of this year, cross things out, add some more things in to show what we ended the school year with. Our schedule has gone very well this year. We decided to try a more 6-week on, 1 week off schedule. This gives us more breaks during the school year, a slightly shorter summer, but I think that's been worth it so far. Again, I don't have to report hours or days or weeks to the state, but I do like to keep track for my own sake. So I shoot for a school year of 36 weeks, knowing that we can fall a little short of that. It's no problem. So I split it into 18 weeks before we break for Christmas and 18 weeks before we break for the summer. Now we only made it to 17 weeks before we broke for Christmas, and that is just fine. This is just a goal to shoot for. I'm perfectly okay with changing it up as needed. We are currently working our way through the Little House on the Prairie books, which has been wonderful. I think it's our second or third time through now, with my younger ones being older. They don't really remember the first time we read through them, so it's kind of nice to go through them with fresh eyes. We are in the Birch Bark House right now, which is not Laura Ingalls Wilder, but it does fit very nicely into the series and gives a different perspective. We've done a few activities and field trips. This was the daily routine that I had created at the beginning of the year, and we've stuck to it pretty well. We've gotten kind of used to the routine, and I know from year to year it's going to change a little bit, but this is the basis of what we do. Our weekly routine, again, we've stuck with this pretty well. Friday is our bonus day. I schedule and prepare for a 4-day school week, knowing that we have a little wiggle room. So if we somehow don't do school on Monday or Wednesday, which often happens when I have Bible study, or any other things disrupt one of the days of the week, then Friday just becomes the fourth school day. So yes, I have been very consistent and really enjoying, excuse me, I must apologize for my voice if you can hear that I have a cold at the moment, but the way I set up the weekly log. So I can number the week, there's no dates, I fill in the dates at the beginning of the week, and I fill in as we go. So I fill in either what we did or what I know we're going to do for the next day. And that has been a very good system for me and my style of planning. I do most of the planning and the preparing before the school year even starts, so that when I'm actually in the midst of our weeks and our days, I can just do the next thing. So I don't need a lesson planner. What I need is something to keep me consistent, and that's what this has been for me. I will show you our most recent week. I see as the week's gone on, we've got scribbles and marks and everything, and that's okay. That's what this was meant for. So as you can see, this day was a little disrupted. We had other things going on. No problem. That's what Fridays are for. Okay, now that I've shown you how the planner is going, let me jump into some of the things in our homeschool day that have been going really well. And the first one is we are actually doing a bit more, if I can pull it over here, a bit more of a morning basket with all of my books. So let me show you. We start our day, and I can show you that in our schedule. Excuse the paper rustling. So after World Watch, we do our daily devotion, which has been right now working our way through the Answers book for kids. We have the whole series. I really like these. These are very short and just kind of topic starters, conversation starters, which we have really been enjoying. We have 100 Extraordinary Stories of Prayer for Courageous Girls. We've done a couple other similar books. My girls really enjoy this. So what we do is every day, I read about a woman of faith. And we also have a history timeline. So I will use a Post-it note and add the woman that we learned about to a Post-it note and add that to our history wall, which gives the girls a little more context. For Bible, we have been using this year, The Biggest Story Bible Storybook. This one has been beautiful. I love the illustrations and the language that is used. It tells a cohesive story from beginning to end. So we have definitely been enjoying this one. Has been a big hit. So after that, we do Bible. Then we get into our shared subjects of science and history. Our science this year has been Elements of Faith. So this is a middle school course that all of my students, all of my girls participate in. The younger ones just get a little less, the older ones get a little more out of it. We have really been enjoying it. I will say, to be prepared, that it is very much a Bible study or a devotional like the lessons themselves, and I'll show you an example here. I tear them out. Side note, I should tell you about this. Okay, so for things like the science and the history, this is the prep that I do at the beginning of the school year, is to prepare each week. See, notice that this is not dated. It just has a week number, the number of the week, and the lessons for that week. So I had found that the information in the lesson that the lesson provided, while wonderful, needed a little boost. So I added in an Elements Encyclopedia. This one just gives a little boost to the information, the scientific information included. Only takes a couple extra minutes. It's worth it. For history, we have been working our way through the world's story, the modern age, and I'm kind of a little meh about this one. I love that the author ties in different parts, makes connections in history. In fact, connections in history that I, even as a history buff, a history lover, had not made before. So I'm learning too, which I really appreciate. It's written from the author directly to the student, which I enjoy. It makes it a nice read aloud. So we are enjoying it. Not sure if I would do another one though. Okay, then as our bonus on Fridays, if we have a fifth school day, we have been working our way through the Tuttle Twins American History. which is amazing, wonderful. We love it. It could absolutely be a standalone history curriculum. It just didn't happen to work out that way in our homeschool this year. They have lots of extra resources, an audiobook, worksheets, different supplements to really make this a very full and rich history curriculum. Speaking of Tuttle Twins, one of my 8th graders, things that she has in her planner is to do a bonus subject every day. So we pick something for her to do, and this is where she gets a little extra or a little input and control over her day. She didn't do a whole lot on that week, but she gets to pick something every day to do with me. And one of her options is we have the whole set of the middle grade Tuttle Twins books. So she often loves to pick one of these for us to read together. These have been really good too, and they address a lot of topics that young teens really need that information on. They need to be able to think about these topics and why, and be able to to me, these really tie in with apologetics, and that's what we are trying to raise, is students and young adults who know their faith and know how to talk about their faith and what they believe. And so books like the Tuttle Twins, although not specifically religious, do give the tools for apologetics, and I really enjoy that. All right, let's see some other things that have been working really well. This one for my younger 3. So I started the year expecting to use The Good and the Beautiful again as our language arts for my younger 3, but I really had to take a break from it. It just was not filling the need that my middle 2, so I have an 11-year-old and a 9-year-old right now, who are not confident readers yet. There is suspected dyslexia and a few other things contributing to that. So we really had to take some time and find a different approach. I had tried many things over the years, and this was like a late night Amazon find. I found a used copy for not very much money, and I ordered it on a whim, and it has been amazing. This book has done so much for my struggling readers. I cannot stress enough. It's more of a book for you as the teacher to really reframe how you address reading, to really simplify and get back to the basics, to not overcomplicate. We tend to overcomplicate phonics and reading, and this just really brings it down to the basics and the building blocks. And I have seen strides, leaps and bounds in my younger 3, specifically the middle 2 that were struggling. My youngest follows along as well because she is actually a natural reader like my oldest was. So she's ready for this. She just breezes through. She tags along and is learning as well. But my middle 2 have really benefited from the information and the teaching method of reading reflex. I highly recommend for anyone who has a struggling or reluctant reader. This really helps get back to the basics to give them that foundation to move forward. Some other things that have worked out really well. For this one is for my oldest. The Learn Math Fast system, we found it last year, and oh, how I wish we had found it earlier. I cannot tell you enough how much of a blessing this has been for my oldest. She is someone who is very math-minded, but has struggled with most traditional math curriculums. We have tried so very many. I call her, the poor oldest child, I call her my guinea pig. We have tried so many curriculums for her over the years, and it's nice that we have finally found one that truly works for her. The Learn Math Fast system has taken her from struggling to flying through algebra. This is the algebra equivalent book. So she has been able to do, this is the second book that she's been doing just this school year. It really is fast. But I need to make sure that fast doesn't necessarily mean skipping or surface. This really delves deep. It just does so in a way that is very simple and straightforward, which is exactly what she needs. It breaks down the steps, one step at a time, building on itself with no fluff. And that is very much her. So if you have a student like that, a student that either gets distracted or frustrated with too much explanation, but also wants to know the why, see that kind of, it's a difficult thing to balance when you have a student that doesn't like something to be over explained, but needs and wants and desires to understand the whys behind math. This fills that need. And another piece, I think this is the last one I'd like to talk about. This one again is for my 8th grader. And again, this is kind of like how I said our history was kind of meh. This is this one as well. I really wanted to love this one. And I kind of do. And then I kind of don't. Man, I have just really struggled with language arts and writing. I have not found my sweet spot yet. This one, we skipped a lot. We skipped a lot of the grammar and jumped into the writing. The first half of the book, well, the first semester's worth of the book is all grammar. And it was things that my daughter just didn't need. And it was just drudgery to do it over and over again. So we ended up skipping a whole lot of lessons to jump into the writing. And the writing lessons are simple, again, no fluff, they're quick. It just hasn't really engaged her. We haven't watched, it comes with video lessons, we haven't watched a video lesson in weeks. I'm just not, it has more things than we're using. It just hasn't been a full, we haven't really clicked with it. So I'm not sure I would do it again. Maybe I will. They do have a Essentials in Literature. Maybe we would try that for next year for high school. I'm not sure yet. So this one is kind of like I'm not sure. It's doing what it needs to do so far, but it's not a huge hit. So I'll see if I end up finding something different for next year. So that seems to be about all I wanted to talk about for this video, for this year's mid-year review. If anyone watching struggles with using a lesson planner or overly complicated planners, so many planners that you try as the publishers trying to appeal to so many different kinds of homeschoolers, they tend to have a lot of to provide a lot of different options. And for somebody like me who tends to like simple, I just wasn't using a lot of the pages that were in other planners. So to make one that fits my needs was such a blessing this year and very easy to do. If anybody would like more information on how I made this one, I'd be happy to answer any questions. So, well, I hope you all have a wonderful week and the rest of your school year, and I would hope to see you guys again soon. Thank you for watching. Bye.